Welcome to this tutorial. So in this tutorial, we are going to solve 2023 Science Paper 2 questions. So we know that Paper 2 is chemistry. So before I start, don't forget to subscribe and comment which video should I post next. And for those that try tuitions, don't forget to inbox. This is my line, WhatsApp for tuitions. Yeah. So let's begin. So the question is saying a molecule of a certain gas is represented by the diagram shown. So this is the diagram representing the molecule. Then they are saying that they are only showing the outer shells. So which means they are showing the last shell of an element. So this is basically coming from a topic which is known as atoms, molecules, and elements. Yeah. So our first question is saying, name the compound represented by the diagram shown. So they want us to name this compound. So before you name a compound, there are things which you need to know. The first thing is, what is this compound representing? So we can see that the compound has only two elements, which is carbon and hydrogen. So when you reach grade 12, probably you will learn about organic chemistry, and you know that hydrocarbons, they are what? They basically contain carbon and hydrogen. Yeah. So this compound is basically methane. Yeah. So why are we naming this compound methane? So the first word meth means one carbon. So remember, when you reach organic chemistry, meth means one, eth two, pro 3, just like that. So if you look at our diagram, we only have one carbon, and we have how many? 4 hydrogens. So it is methane. Then our next question is saying, write the chemical formula for the compound. So writing the chemical formula for the compound, this is the easiest part. So how can you write the chemical compound for this formula? So basically you just have to look at the diagram. How many carbons do we have? We only have what? One carbon. So we write C. Then how many hydrogen do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you say H4. Yeah, once you do that, you have written the chemical formula for what? For methane. So identifying or writing a chemical formula using a diagram is the simplest. Then the next question is saying, what type of bonding is shown in the diagram? So when you look at the diagram again, you can see that carbon and hydrogen are what? Are sharing electrons. So whenever you see two atoms sharing electrons, that is called covalent bonding. So this is the sharing of electrons between non-metals. Yeah. So as I've said, this is a covalent bonding. So what is covalent bonding? So covalent bonding is just the what? Sharing of electrons between non-metals. Yeah. So here you can see that carbon and hydrogen are doing what? They are sharing electrons. So here you have to just say covalent bonding. So this is how these questions are simple. So the next question is saying, what type of forces keep the molecule together? So since we have identified that this type of bonding is covalent, so before I answer this question, there's something I want to tell you. So this question was combined with what? Bonding. Yeah. So in covalent bonding, there are forces which are known as van der Waals. So these forces known as what? Van der Waals. Yeah. So these forces are basically weak forces which hold the atoms together. Yeah, so whenever you are asked what is van der Waals, so these are just weak forces that hold the atoms together. So these forces, they are only present in what? In covalent bonding. Yeah. So here you need to write now van der Waals. Yeah. So these are the forces that hold the what? The molecules together. That's the reason most gases have what? Most gases have lower boiling point because these forces are very weak. Then the last question is saying, write a balanced equation showing complete combustion of the compound in B in excess air. So here first, before you start answering, you need to pick out what? Keywords. So the first keyword is what? Complete what? Combustion. So what do we mean when we say complete combustion? So when you say complete combustion, this is a type of combustion where carbon dioxide is what? Produced. So whenever you hear complete combustion, remember one of the products should be what? Carbon dioxide. Then whenever they tell you incomplete combustion, remember one of the products should be carbon monoxide. So in incomplete, we have carbon monoxide. Then in complete combustion, we have what? Carbon dioxide. Then combustion. So whenever you hear the word combustion again, remember it's oxygen. So whenever they say this this reaction is a combustion reaction, remember it is reacting with what? Oxygen. Yeah. So they are asking us now to write a balanced equation showing our molecule reacting with what? Oxygen in a combustion what? Reaction. Yeah. So you say our molecule, which is methane, CH4, you say plus oxygen should give us what? Remember I told you it's what? Complete combustion. So meaning one should be carbon dioxide. Then the other is what? Water. Yeah. So remember, there are only two products in complete combustion: carbon dioxide and water. Yeah. So now we have written the equation, but we haven't done what? We haven't balanced it. We haven't balanced it yet. So how can we balance this equation? So first thing, you need to look at oxygen. So when we look at oxygen, we can see that here we have how many oxygen? We have 2. Then this side we have 3. We have 2 here plus this one. We have 3 oxygen. So how can we balance this equation? So the way we can balance this equation is, so we need to add a 2 here in front of what? in front of water. Why are we adding a 2 in front of water? Because we want to make 2 what? Oxygen and 2 oxygen. So total together we have what? 4 oxygen. So meaning this side we have 4 oxygen, which means here now we can add a 2, so that when we multiply these 2 and these 2, we have 4 oxygen and 4 oxygen. Then when we come to hydrogen, so in hydrogen here we have how many? 4. Then here hydrogen will also have how many? 4. When we multiply 2 times 2. So once you do this, meaning you have completed the entire question and you have gotten all the marks. So remember, when you see any compound sharing electrons, it's what? Covalent. Then what are the forces in covalent? So the forces in covalent are basically the Van der Waals forces. So these forces are basically weak forces that hold the atoms together, making the atoms to have a lower boiling point. Yeah. Then identifying the chemical formula, I told you just have to count the atoms on the diagram. We had 1 carbon and 4 hydrogen. Yeah. So be sure to subscribe to my channel and inbox for tuition.